Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and how we're going to fix both of those things together. The content that I'm going to show you right now is a new liberal gladiator has entered the arena. He goes after our gun rights in the normal, typical, arrogant fashion, condescension, all the leftist tools and goodies. Only one little problem. A, he proves our point. B, he's completely wrong. And C, we win again. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about this one. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, because we are taking no prisoners in our gun rights fight, and we are taking this freedom train all the way to the station. Like I said, everything's linked. Like, share, subscribe, all the good things. Let's get it, people. This guy that you're about to see is a online leader of the liberal bastion in the internet. His name's David Pacman. Has his own show, hangs out with the Young Turks. That level of leftist, okay? And he's about to go after gun rights because obviously he knows better and he's going to talk down to us about our gun rights. However, the way in which he goes about it is a little interesting, particularly when we're about to backhand this from orbit. All right, let's get into this. Allow the gladiator to lobby his first volley, and then we will return fire.
This is so pathetic. A Fox News host, Maria Bartiromo, is pretending that she's so worried about what's going to happen because of angry anti-Trump people once Trump is president, that she's learning how to handle a gun. It's so nakedly absurd, the idea that Maria Bartiromo is going to be endangered in such a way that she needs a gun when Trump is president. It's so pathetic. Here she is interviewing Donald Trump Jr. And she says, no, I'm worried. I'm now starting I'm afraid. I'm learning how to use a gun.
All right. We're going to get to Don Trump Jr. in a second because it's important for the third segment. Do you understand what he's doing right here? And this is a really important thing that you have to understand because all the elite leftists do this. Every single one of them. It's so nakedly absurd. It's patently obvious. Maria Bartiromo, the rich Fox News analyst, would never need a gun. She wouldn't be in a situation where she would be exposed to crime because she's rich. Did I mention she's rich? Let's get some class warfare in here. Let's put in some more anti-gun propaganda because it's so stupid that the one individual here would say they need a gun. All the while completely negating the idea that everything that she's talking about is not necessarily about her, it's about a reflection of the population. There is a reason that more guns have been bought in the last 4 years than ever before. And it's not because Maria Bartiromo needed a gun, it's because all the people who were affected by this guy's party's policies looked around and went, holy crap, it's getting bad, I need to take care of myself. And now Don Jr. is going to say something like that to the effect in a second, but I want to highlight how arrogant and how much condescension and focus on the wealth gap and the have and the haves nots. It's all about the division, and don't listen to her about gun rights because she's rich and a Fox News host. So it's completely stupid. Not even realizing that it's not Maria Bartiromo that we're talking about. It's the everyday people, the single moms, the people who live by themselves, the young women. All these people who are vulnerable because of his policies, well, his party's policies. But no, it's about the evil Fox News host. Guys, this is why we're going to defeat them, because they cannot get past their class warfare. They cannot move forward with their policies without starting with fear and destruction and chaos. Let's keep going, though. Guys, this is one of the best examples of this I've seen in a hot minute.
People from New York City, people who I've known my whole life, were probably quite anti-gun for most of that, calling me, understanding that I've been into this world for quite some time. Hey, how do I go about doing this? How do I go about getting the training? How do I go about purchasing a firearm? Because they believe they are their last line of defense to protect themselves. And they're 100% right. We've seen the failures across the board, Maria. This is a fundamental American right, and we're going to protect it at all costs.
You're right. Omid, I mean, I've been training myself on how to handle a gun just because of the fear that you don't know what you don't know, Omid. So what about that? Are you seeing that market as your growth opportunity here, Omid? Women, young people?
Absolutely. There's no question. If you look at the data, the fastest growing cohort for gun ownership are millennials and Gen Zs. They're growing exponentially.
Yeah.
And so this is the next part where I'm about to, so far I've been taking the glove off very gently and kind of like a little I'm going to do it. This next segment, we're going to do it. This is the important piece. And this is what they can't overcome. The gun lobby, the gun manufacturers, those evil people that control Washington, D.C., those people can't make people buy guns. But don't worry, they're an evil corporation, so they somehow have figured out how to make people do it. That's why Gen Z and young women, and by the way, also people of color, independent women, Democrat women, and it was another demographic. I believe it was gay and lesbian was another one that was really big on firearm ownership all of a sudden. All these demographics are not because an evil gun lobby and Maria Bartiromo said she's going to change her gun. Notice his body language and his just smirking and his facial expression. This is all about arrogance and condescension and elitism. You can see it on his face. But anyway, let's continue while he completely ignores the plight of the people in order to make a class argument.
Maria Bartiromo, who's worth $50 million, and I'm sure lives in, a building that is perfectly safe and, travels with car services and all of it. She wants us to believe that it's getting so dangerous out there. When Trump is president and, you've got all the urban crime and then all the anti-MAGA people that might target her, she now needs to know how to handle a gun. This, more than anything, brings me back to the arguments that gun lobbies make, which is if gun crime goes up, they say, oh, you too need a gun to protect yourself from all of the crime. If gun crime goes down, they go, it's down thanks to more people having guns to protect themselves. Since the criminals know everybody's got a gun, they are now committing fewer crimes. Either way, the answer is get yourself a gun.
Okay, was that supposed to be like a negative on the gun world? Because let's analyze what he just said. Crime goes up, so you get a gun, and everyone gets a gun. Then crime goes down as a reaction to getting that gun, and now it's a problem that crime went down because you got the gun. I'm still failing to see where if we buy more guns and then crime goes down, why are people buying more guns here? If it's this big conspiracy about the gun lobby making people buy guns in both scenarios, I understand this side. Why would the argument be it's because you did something in the past, not because you need another one now? It doesn't make sense on its face. But again, it's not about making sense on its face. It's about dividing through class warfare. It's about taking your rights away from the everyday population who have the Second Amendment right. And his big problem here is that Maria Bartiromo, she didn't say she's going out and buying 500 guns. What she said was, I'm getting training. Which sounds like a responsible action, but that's not good enough because Davy Boy here, what's with Davies? David Hogg, David Pacman, what is with David? Anyway, this is all about... It's a gun lobby trick. It's horrible. It's awful. I'm going to disprove my own point while still trying to inject class warfare. By the way, do you remember that whole CEO of the insurance company who was also worth millions of dollars, who also lived in probably in a gay community, who also probably had car service? He got shot right in the back. I imagine asking for a friend. Anyway, now let's go down and he's going to destroy his point even further and we're going to have some more fun with that one. Guys, this is why we're winning because this is the mental midgets that we're having to fight.
And one of the things that they're now realizing is we need to expand. Now, I've said this before, and
we're going to make them buy guns.
I can't remember any period like the last few years where so many of my liberal friends have started to acquire firearms. And they all give the exact same reason. It's some version of, listen, David, sir. They're so respectful to me. They call me sir.
Okay, that's weird.
David, it's not that I even really like guns. It's not that I think they're cool. It's not that I like having them around. In fact, I'm concerned about a lot of that stuff. But when I hear that there's 400 million guns in the U.S. and they're disproportionately in the hands of these whack jobs, I don't want the other side to be the only ones with the firearms. And this is the number one reason that probably a dozen friends of mine over the last few years have decided to obtain guns. It's not because...
Okay, there's nothing left in this clip that I really want to hit on. But do you understand what just happened? And this is such a great way to wrap this up. He literally just proved against his own point one more time in the same 3.5-minute segment why people embrace their Second Amendment rights. Even his liberal friends, who apparently call him sir, which is very odd. Anyway, again, going back to the elitism and the condescension and the arrogance. If you are making fun of people because they need to buy a gun to prepare for the crime, and because you're concerned with crime and you're taking the training and the responsible steps to take care of that crime and insulate yourself from said crime, you're mocking people who want to do that. However, when your liberal friends, sir, David, sir, weird, they all buy guns more than any other time in your history of having them as friends. And it's because you don't want the MAGA or the crazy to have guns, which is the exact same principle of why populations buy guns against criminals. It's you don't want the criminals to have all the guns because you'll be a victim. The exact same mentality goes to his liberal friends, just a different impetus. I don't want my opponents to have all the guns, so I need to get one. This is the whole point. It's all about insulating yourself from a perceived threat. In one side, it's criminals, it's crime, and it's soft on crime prosecutors. On the other side, it's political threats. The bottom line is the Second Amendment enables you to have that gun to protect yourself from said threat. But this guy is so entranced in his arrogance and condescension and in liberal elitism, he can't even see the connections between what he's talking about in an ironic fashion of trying to destroy the gun lobby. He completely supports it. Behold our opponents. Consider another gladiator fallen. You let me know if we landed this plane, if we defeated and stand glorious on the sands of Second Amendment freedom, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.